immunity. But when the second exposure is carried out by both. The first exposure, sometimes we call primary response, is mediated by IgM is one. Okay? But it takes about 2 weeks to produce IgG. There will be delayed. The next exposure is IgG will rise very quickly, and also the title is very high. And IgM almost the same, okay. And then the memory they can be primed there. Let me show you the figure. Okay. Primary response. The time is weak, okay. So let's say if we have bacterial infection, and first it takes about 1 week or maybe 10 days, your IgM reach to a peak, and then you feel better in the second week because your IgG also reach the peak, and then they will deteriorate. Okay, so usually you have some kind of infection or you get a flu or get a cold. It usually takes about 3 weeks to completely recover. Okay, and after 2 weeks you feel better. But the second response is IgM a little bit faster. It's not even the 1 week. It probably 6 days already reached the peak, and here roughly 10 days, right? But the concentration, the title is almost the same. IgM always the same, and disappear in the third week. But IgG can reach very high title in the third week compared to if we put this figure overlap together, and you will see IgG had a quickly response, and every time the title is higher than IgM, and reach the peak here. And so if you had a second exposure, you can recover quick. Okay. Now, if I have this question ask you, which one responds quickly, IgM or IgG? Okay. Probably you forgot, and I list all this IgA, IgE, IgB. Okay. But majorly the cure effects by IgM and IgG. Okay. And how you memorize this one? Oh, I give you a trick. Okay. IgM. IgM. It sounds like IBM. IgG. It sounds like Google. If you have money to buy stock, you know that. IBM, more than 100-year company, but stock not much. And Google, okay, if you buy a stock, still going up, okay, not done. And so if you want to buy stock, buy Google, okay, not IBM. So G is better than M, okay? All right. We have 4 types of allergy reaction. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. One is immediate reaction for type 1. The reaction we call hypersensitivity, overreaction, and could be cytotoxic reaction, blood typing, could be type. So I only focus on type 1, type 4. Type 4 is delayed. It takes several days or even 1 week. Type 1 is immediate hypersensitivity, rapid response, and is carried out by what? IgE antibody. usually relate to allergy. And we have the other term called anaphylaxis. Okay, it's a massive inflammatory response. So release a lot of histamine and heparin. Okay, can be fatal, can be kill a person. Change the blood capillary permeability, and especially attack smooth muscle of trachea in the lung system. The muscle relax, but they cannot recover to constriction. Just one stay there, okay, and cannot move. So we call it a shock, okay, and so the air just cannot move in and out, and then sometimes can cause death, and that is called vasodilatation. And the reason is the allergens, maybe pollen or something, and first presented by macrophage, activate T helper cell, and activate B cell, plasma cell, produce IgE. That's first response. And the second response is this this pollen reach again, and then this master cell produce our basophil. Master cell basophil produce a lot of histamine, leukotriene, and all this is a paracrine affect the locally, majorly trachea, and cause all reaction, the whole body reaction. Could be blood capillary, could be in the lung, could be in the mucus, could be the skin. Okay. And this one, the other figure, the same thing. Okay, first exposure just has some memories, IgE antibody there. But second one, subsequent exposure, then when they activate, they can quickly respond, and the effect is caused by this histamine, leukotriene. That's one. They cause all this kind of body damage. Okay. Now, to against the bacteria, we always can have this antigen presentation by T helper cell, cytotoxic T cell, or helper T cell, or B cell activate. Okay, all these two ways to go. And finally, either from cell mediate or antibody mediate, and to destruct this bacteria. And so we have 7 functions of antigen antibody binding. Actually, it's not antibody kill the bacteria or virus. It's through this 7 steps. Okay, they can neutralization. They can cause the precipitation that all this bacterial virus join to one part. They can cause the C protein or complement activate to be more whole there. They can attract phagocyte, neutrophil, eosinophil, macrophage. They can cause opsonization, increase this phagocyte ability to eat this one, and stimulate inflammation and prevent an adhesion. Okay, but I want to focus on this opsonization. Okay, that means the antibody actually just make a marker. They don't directly kill the cell. Opson means delicious side dish. Okay, opsoning means prepared for eating, and so that means is the effect of the antibody actually is coating an object of bacterial virus with antibody to attract and enhance phagocytosis. Then the macrophage recognize it and eat it quickly. Okay, so it's indirect kill kill the bacteria by antibody. Actually, this virus. Finally, kill the bacterial virus is by what? Cytotoxic T cell or antibody to produce. But it just make a lot of marker. I don't have a few issues, sorry. That means they will attack bacteria and a lot of binding antibodies surrounding it and make it go through these 7 steps. Okay. A major function of antibodies reduce the ability, the binding site, the toxic of the bacteria or virus, and make it precipitate and form a group joined together and easy for oxygenation for the macrophage or neutrophil to swallow it. Okay. Against the virus, actually the same thing. Okay, but we have more things to attack it. We have interferon. We have MK cell. Yeah, but other will be the same. Okay. So body response to bacterial infection. If you got bacterial infection, what is the first soldier reach to here? Neutrophil, always the first one. Okay, and then natural killer cell will reach 2. They're all non-specific defense. And then macrophage, the phagocytosis is the green color. This one is non-specific defense. And cytotoxic T cell, the blue color, and that is the specific defense. And you had to wait about 1 or 2 weeks to from the B cell become plasma cell and produce antibody. Okay, so it take about 2 or 3 weeks. So it take about 3 weeks to cure that. Okay, so the first 3 is all non-specific. Neutrophil is always the 1. NK cell, and number 2. Macrophage, or you put phagocytosis, and then cell mediate, and then antibody mediate. So cell mediate cytotoxic T cell is in front, go in front of this antibody mediate. And again, it's this one, okay? But you can put a note here, activate of T cell. You put this one first, and activate of B cell. This will take a bit long part. You put it second. Okay. This T cell mediate, cell mediate. This one will go first. And then if they handle very well, then suppressor T cell will inhibit most of T cell or B cell. Our textbook make it very complicated. Antigen every time, bacteria or virus. We have non-specific, okay, complement, NK cell, okay, and then cell mediate, antibody mediate, and put all these things, okay. But they miss something, okay. This one CD8 activate T helper cell, and this one CD8 here look like cell mediate, not anything related to T helper cell. Wrong. The T helper cell also will affect cytotoxic T cell. Okay, and so I would say is this one is better and easy to understand. Okay, T helper cell not only affect B cell antibody produced, it also affect cytotoxic T cell. This one can see very clear, and this one you cannot see it. You cannot see helper T cell somewhere here. Okay, so not quite good. Okay, you have to put the other branches affect this one. Okay, so combine this response. I think this one I already mentioned that. Okay. Neutrophil again, number 1. MK cell number 2. I think you know these two should be enough. Okay, and then cytotoxic cell, and then antibody. For virus, we have more is interferon, NK cell. Don't worry about this. And then we had a table show you all the chemical related to immune response. This is cell and antigen presenting cell and then NK cell. This is cell first, and then this is amplified. All these cells they respond to that. Okay, antigen presenting cell. I think I all this in my slide. Macrophage, free of fixed dendritic cell, Langerhans cell. Yeah, that's one I already did. And then we have compound here. Yeah, interleukins from IL-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 to 13. Okay, and they all have different activity. Okay, and the key point is, do we need to know what is the function? No, we don't worry about that. Because what? Every year they have something new. Right now they had interleukin 1, alpha, beta, gamma, interleukin 2. They had all the subgroup. Okay, so just know they are produced by interleukin, mean white blood cell, produced by white blood cell lymphocyte. Okay, and the detailed structure, don't worry about it. Okay, if you want to go to PhD program, you probably can do this, or you can write a thesis about this. Interferon, we just mentioned it. Just know again it's a virus. TMF, tumor necrosis factor, here tumor. Okay. This tiny factor, don't worry too much about this. Okay. Let me go the cell, and I say something about cytokines. If the cell produce chemical, work on the locally as a paracrine, majorly more from the macrophage and the lymphocytes. And that could be example could be interferon, could be interleukins, could be TNF, could be CSF. This one we mentioned in chapter 19, colony stimulating factor for this red blood cell, platelet, and 4 different type of white blood cell to grow, right? And so we know interferon, interleukin, all this belong to cytokines. Okay, don't worry about this. And interleukin have a lot of function or homoreactant. Just don't worry too much. Just give you one interesting thing. Lyme disease. You heard about this? A small insect bite. You really are hiking and you're in the mountain. Sometimes you sleep at night in outdoor, and always sometimes caused by this Lyme disease by insect bite. They produce a lot of interleukin 1. They cause damage to the skin. It's very horrible. Just give you an idea about that. How about the fetus? Yeah. In the beginning, it's covered by liver and bone marrow. And about 4 months, they produce IgM antibody. Very interesting. Before birth, mother's IgG can cross. Not only that RH and anti-IgG antibody, all kind of protection. If mother had it, it belongs to IgG, account for 80% of antibody. They all can reach the fetus, so it's a lot of protection. And after birth, we don't have connection with the mother, then we still get milk from IgA antibody. Okay. So I would tell all the ladies, okay, if in the future you marry and had a kid, okay, you better feed your baby with your own milk in the beginning. I'm not asking you to feed them for 2 years, okay? But in the very beginning, after you birth, I ask you to feed the baby 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks. Because in the first 2 weeks, you had higher dose IgA. And if your baby miss this one, miss an R. Okay? Alright. I'll tell you later. Stress and immune response. Stress will cause increase of glucocorticoid, you mentioned that, as cortisol. And they can inhibit immune response, lower the resistance to disease. So if you have stress, you easily get sick. Okay, don't worry too much. Okay, lower your stress. If you have stress, your defense is reduced. Okay, so don't worry much. Okay, everything is fine. All right. Immune response. How about people getting old? Yeah, the problem is thymosin. The thymus that reduce the size, produce less thymus and less T lymphocytes. Fewer T lymphocytes reduce the ability, and also the ability to against tumor cell also decline, and so easy to get tumor or something abnormal after 70 years old. Glucocorticoid, I don't want to go detail, but important thing, how we can treat this for medicine, treat the inflammatory reaction is because they inhibit interleukin reaction. They inhibit immune response. TNF, I'm not going to go for this one. Okay, it's also the same as cytokine. Phagocyte activating chemical, CSF, that's one I mentioned there. We had multi-CSF, we had GCSF, we had MCSF, right? Immune disorder. Sometimes we have immune disease we cannot control. One is autoimmune disease, we attack our own cell. And one is immunodeficiency disease, complete breakdown, or the third one we cannot handle is allergy. Okay. Autoimmune, this always problem for many people is we make antibody against our own body cells. One kind of thyroid infection is one. Rheumatoid arthritis, joint pain, and some even is insulin-dependent diabetes. The second thing is more important, and we can prevent it. Immunodeficiency disease, that means that virus attack our immune system, and we lost the response. And that example is AIDS, HIV, human immunoviruses. And why it's so severe? Because it attacks what? T helper cell. They recognize CD4 co-receptor. And when one virus died, they release more virus. One cell died, and they block T cell and inhibit NDC molecule recognition. And it's so tiny. If you type your any kind of character in your computer, and that period, that dot, contain 200 million virus. And it can be survived. The virus can be survived in any kind of liquid, including the tear, including the saliva, including the lipoductic, any kind of mucus. Treatment is not right now. It's not complete. Well, we can inhibit it. Yeah. The thing I want to show you is here. Here's how many days? 25 days. We do the cell culture incubation is 100%. And if we put HIV virus, and after 25 days, cytotoxic T cell, suppressor T cell will reduce probably 10-15%. The CD4 T cell, T helper cell, will reduce almost to 0%. That means what? it attacks T helper cell. The virus not attack other cell. That means what? They attack helper T cell. They shut down cell mediate. They shut down antibody mediate. So all the specific defense is zero. So that's horrible. Okay. Any kind of the other disease, we always have some ability for cellular T cell activate or B cell activate. But the HIV will shut down this one, helper T cell. And they will shut down complete specific. And only non-specific cannot overcome this one. And allergen, the chemical we call allergen, is the one we also cannot handle that one. And we have one we call type 1 hypersensitivity mediated by B cell and produce too much IgE. Okay, and there is histamine cause vasodilation. And that could be from food, could be from pollen, could be from the bee sting, the chemical, could be from hay fever, and sometimes caused by antibody, the penicillin related the medicine. Okay, and that is carried out by B cell and IgE and histamine. Okay, the other one is delayed, mediated by T cell. So it takes about hours or day or even week. Poison ivy is one of them. They cause the infection of the skin we call dermatitis. They secrete lymphokines, okay, just like the cellular T cell is. How we treat it? The first part we treat it by antihistamine, right? Antihistamine. This one we treat it by cortisol, not antihistamine. Okay. Later on, I will show you is what is poison ivy. Okay, 3 leaves usually go under the shadow. If you go hiking, or you had a big yard, a big tree. Okay. And they have 3 leaves together, usually like this shape. Some are really not smooth cut, and some are a little bit smooth. Okay. But when every time you see the 3 small leaves go together under the shadow, okay, don't touch it. Even the leaf, the stain, any part of this one. If they contact your skin, they will cause very severe infection. And it looks like horrible. I don't want to show you a picture of it. Okay. So you have to have a little bit idea. Okay. If you see something with 3 leaves together, don't touch it. Don't touch it. All right. Oh, exam 2 again. Sorry. This one. I have to say this again. Now we can go to next chapter. Okay, right? Right. Good. We have a lot of time. All right. Let me finish the first part and we'll take it. Now we can see chapter 23, respiratory system. And the first, we know the function. Okay, we all know very well that's for gas exchange. Okay, oxygen and CO2 majorly, and move air in and out. Okay. Protect our airway, the surface, from dehydration. We can add the moisture there, and also prevent the invasion of the pathogen. So we had we can hair to block some dust. We also can produce sound from our vocal cord. And in this nose, we also have this olfactory stimuli. We have the sensation of smell. Okay, we can detect what kind of smell. Okay, so this one, number 5, I think we taught in P1 already. We divide this respiratory system to upper part and the lower part. We use a borderline called larynx. Okay, let's take a look up here. Upper part and the lower part. And here we call larynx. The larynx actually is a group of this cartilage here. Okay, just in this vocal cord area. Okay. And in the trachea and the lung, we call lower respiratory system. And we also can, beside the upper and the lower, we can say they are conducting portion, the airway, or respiratory portion, the actual side for gas exchange. So the first part here, the trachea here, the big bronchial, they are not had a function for gas exchange. Only the terminal had that function. Okay, so now we amplify a little bit. There's the end of trachea, right lung, the left lung. A lot of this bronchial is primary, secondary, tertiary. Only the last part, alveolar and respiratory bronchioles, these two parts have ability for gas exchange. Just give you an idea. We'll come back to it here later. Okay. In the upper respiratory system, the function is as a filter. Okay. They can warm this income air. They can cool it down when you get out. Anatomy part, yeah, we have to know some of this. We have external larynx or nostrils. That is a two-hole here. Okay, external larynx. We have nasal vestibule. Vestibule means open area. Vestibule is right here. Nasal vestibule, opening area. Okay. And here's external larynx and here's open area. And we have septum, separate right and the left, is a hyaline cartilage. We have a septum, I think this one, didn't show very well. We had a concave or concave, superior, middle, and inferior, a snake-shaped wall. How it look like? It look like this. Actually, it's like a snake. Okay, and then it will had a gap here, and they had a lot of hair on the top, and they create a turbulence of air, and we had some liquid there to attract the dust. Okay. Very interesting is in the nasal cartridge we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. The middle is separated right and left, right? But on the top we have this piece, one right side, left side, and the middle part is the biggest one, and we have tiny one, and we have this one very interesting. It's a isolated, independent area, and they had a gap between this big whole big piece and this one. I don't know why they don't cover the whole thing. Okay, maybe it's good for girls to put a ring. Otherwise, I cannot explain why. Okay. They don't cover the whole thing, but just it's okay here. So when you want to put a ring, okay, you have to make sure, okay, you are not drill a hole. You will cut through the cartridge, although it will be very difficult. It will cause a lot of pain. Okay, you cut through the skin here, then do have a gap here. Okay, all right. That's beautiful, right? don't know. But I don't encourage the guy to do that. All right, that's the one. And then inner part we call internal nares here in this area. And then next to it we call pharynx. Let me see in the slide here. Oh, and internal nares. And the bottom part we call hard palate. It's a bone. And the terminal we call soft palate. It's cartilage and they connect to a muscle. Yeah, and then I will click to this one first. The bottom separate to the mouth is a hard palate. Actually, it's a bone. Okay. Then the end of it is cartilage and followed by muscle, and we call soft palate. Okay, you have to go. Now the next area we call pharynx, behind the internal nares, internal cavity, nasal cavity. It's a chamber shared by digestive system and the respiratory system. The first part, nasopharynx, is on top for air only. And then we have oropharynx, and then we have laryngopharynx. And the epithelium cell is different. The nasopharynx, it had the hair layers, the ciliate, so we call pseudociliate ciliate column. And to put it simple, PSCC. Okay. Then the next two part is stratified squamous epithelium cell. That means we have multiple layer of squamous. Let's go down to here first. Okay, the first part, nasopharynx, is above the soft palate, above soft palate. Okay, so food is not going to come here. Given the swallow, this one will close, right? Okay, and then the next area here is oropharynx, is behind the tongue. And then behind this epiglottis is laryngopharynx, in this area, just before the esophagus and then opening of trachea. Very interesting in this nasopharynx, we have the other important organ, and one is a pharyngeal tonsil. There's a single tonsil in our defense. And we had a hole here called the opening of auditory tube. The other name is Eustachian tube, discovered by a Soviet doctor, Eustachian. And then our new textbook called a new name called pharyngeal tympani tube. Okay, the tube here. And what the tube look like? The tube is a long tube to pharynx and connect to middle ear. Okay, so during the ear infection through a cold, sometimes a liquid coming out. It can coming out from the ear, and it can coming out from your nose, and because infection here, and sometimes it got something in very sticky mucus in this auditory tube. All right, that one I will tell you later. The soft palate, the terminal, if you look at in front of the mirror, you will see something there, here, soft palate. And actually we had a special name called uvula, okay, like fruit that like a grape, okay, that's later on I'll tell you. And actually here you can see hard palate, soft palate, and then we have two major paranasal sinuses. One is the frontal sinus, one is maxillary. Frontal is right here, okay. Maxillary is in the chin area. We go pick it here. In the frontal section, now we can see that it's the frontal sinus, okay. They had a tube connect to nose. And eyes also have a tube connect to nose. And these two areas, two holes here, maxillary sinus, just under your chin. under the skin, but above the bone. And how you look like that? If you have the scalp here, and then you look like this area. I put the arrow here. Is maxillary sinus, just above the upper jaw, and had a tube connect to nose. Eyes also had it. Frontal also had it. So if you get a flu cold, doctor say you have sinus infection, and that means you have more flu, more molecule to come out, and you feel so heavy. Okay, and they all connect to nose. Okay. I tell you a very interesting story. It was about 20 years ago. I have a problem in my cavity, in my tooth. One tooth, I had to do a crown. I need to drill that and make a crown there. And I went to my friend, and he just graduated from dental school. Okay, just had the first clinic, and he drilled that and tried to make a crown on my upper jaw, one maybe this one, upper jaw tooth. But unfortunately, he damaged to my maxillary sinus. Okay, and then I got infection. It drilled too deep. Okay, every time I turn my head a little bit in the front, and a lot of liquid just go down. Okay. Just like turn on the faucet, okay. And it lasts about 1 or 2 weeks, okay. I tell the guy to fix again, but I don't sue the guy because my friend, I'm the first victim of it. And so I tell you, if you want to be a dentist, okay, when you drill something on the top of the jaw, okay, be careful for maxillary sinus. Okay, sometimes you drink too much, and it damages to the sinus. Okay. All right, let's take a break, then we'll come back.